Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to your morning watch list. So we're going to get running through some things here with you guys. First stock that I would say many people have watched this morning pre-market is MNOV. A little bit of a penny stock popping up here on some news. Had some pretty good moves. Now it's starting to sell off and get a little bit weaker here pre-market. So if I can, I'll go to the daily chart here and the 4-hour chart. So pre-market, the stock runs all the way up close to its 2 deviation resistance and then starts to kind of fall back down, okay? And for the longest time pre-market, it was actually holding, just above the half standard deviation support here at 738. So I'll show you that. So you can kind of see we broke over the 738, came back down, tested it, came back down again, bounced, and then we kind of rolled over, okay? So right now, got to say that this probably isn't too much of a long bias stock, and there's a good chance we're going to end up seeing this one fade down a little bit lower here before market open. Now another popular stock here this morning is SPI. So SPI is a penny stock, started really running here just recently, ran all the way up to $3.68, and now it's starting to pull back a little bit. It's possible you'll see SPI as high as about $4 today, but really if it gets up to there, it's definitely going to be a sell-off, okay? And you can already see selling volume is starting to increase here as we reached our green line. So we came up to our green line first time, starting to pull back. If in the event, SPI is all the way up here trading at $4.30. Typically, you're not going to want to be long bias there. You're going to want to be essentially short bias. I checked my broker. No shares is short on this stock today, but if there were, I would, again, probably start getting short myself here all the way up into this zone. So for what it's worth, if you're watching SPI, maybe you get a push up to this 4, but by the time market opens, chances are SPI is going to end up being a big short trade, and you're most likely not going to want to be long bias on the stock. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope it keeps going. I hope it never comes down, but chances are once you get into the 4s, you're going to see selling activity start, and then by market open, I don't think you're going to be seeing this turn into a really good long move. But again, hope I'm wrong. All right. What we're going to do now is hop on over to the market, SPI. Now, yesterday, I had mentioned it was possible, so yesterday I was mentioning it was possible we get up to like the 331 price, which was a half standard deviation mark in the daily chart. But yesterday I did say primarily to keep the market on watch long bias. Well, it started with some really aggressive selling that I myself wasn't even prepared for. Later in the day, picks up, continues into its long move, and then hits up to 331 overnight. So the long did happen, just not quite as I thought it would end up playing out. But sure enough, market still trended up yesterday, going into the long move. Now today, we are just touching kind of like the 50-day moving average and the 331 price, which is a slight resistance. So for me, it's really all about seeing if markets can get over 331. So for me, that's kind of the price target there, 331. And essentially, we would like to see markets kind of cruising up and through that point. So until markets are up and through 331, I don't think we're going to see extremely aggressive, long moves, I guess you could say. For right now, I do have potential dip buying support down at 330. And then resistance is starting, at 333 to 334.40 on the day with the SPI. So again, if you're watching that, keep it on watch. You have the 331 here, which is again kind of a daily chart level you'd have to pay attention to. Intraday support levels we could see are 330s, resistances up at 333, 334 area. Okay. Now we'll hop on over to the Qs. So the Qs, again, actually just hit support, right? So if we go back to the SPI, you know how I was saying we have potential dip buy support here at 330. Same concept here. If we go over to the Qs, you'll see that we drop down to that 271 yellow line, orange line, starting to bounce. So again, support is trying to start here on the Qs down at the 271 price and now going up. Check the daily chart here. So daily chart did not quite get to that target we mentioned yesterday of 276. We didn't have as an aggressive day as I thought maybe we could. But you can see that the market is pushing into the direction of that 276 to 277 trend price point. So I still think you can see markets trend downwards for a bit, unless they get over that 276 on the Q. So for right now, the 276 is a very important spot that I see the markets needing to get up and over and holding over before we're going to see, you know, aggressive moves back into the upwards direction there on the Qs. Okay. Now yesterday, Apple didn't really perform all that well. It dropped down with the market. It bounced later in the day. I thought Apple was going to have more aggressive buying than it saw. But, you know, I guess it really does make sense. We bounced right up to trend resistance. I thought we might break it and keep going. We really just held on it all day yesterday, and we're still kind of sitting there today. So right now we have trend right at 111.89, basically call it 112. And you can see we kind of went up to it, sold off, went up to it, sold off, just over, kind of back under. So we're kind of fighting, you know, basically just chopping around. All right, so right now for me, Apple's kind of just a neutral play, not really crazy about it. I thought yesterday we'd get more aggressive moves. We really didn't. So again, today just going to be watching Apple, not going to really be too much of a player there. Now, if we go over and look at Tesla, you can see Tesla ended up selling off yesterday, and yesterday we marked off this 421 price for you and said that was most likely going to be your breakdown point. And sure enough, when we go look at the intraday chart, we didn't break it. We tapped, bounce, and then later in the day, we ended up crossing through pretty heavy. So that was a significant drop point yesterday, okay? And this was all in the news, something regarding Tesla saying the batteries are 3 years out. But you'll know if you follow the channel, we mentioned that this was probably going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news type event for Battery Day. A lot of investors, a lot of traders were looking for 500, 550s, you know, all-time highs with Battery Day. And I was like, it doesn't seem likely. So sure enough, we had a lot of hype going into Battery Day, and it didn't pan out the way investors thought. And so it was a buy the rumor, sell the news day type of event, and now we're dropping out. Tesla moves all weird all the time, but right now I do have lower risk buying support for Tesla down at about 372. All right, so for me, daily chart, 4-hour time frame supports at about 372. We had this daily chart level here at 396.37. Did that tag? Yeah, so look at this, ready? Look at the daily chart. All right, daily chart, we got support in here at 395, 396. Go to the 1 minute chart. That's exactly what we're holding this morning, right there. Down, bang, 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 holding. So there might be a chance you see Tesla here kind of press up pre-market, maybe more towards the 416 prices. Probably a logical play. So for what it's worth, Tesla, it may be a little bit more long bias today, but again, not really crazy about it. Just talking to you guys about it because I know many of you guys have been watching Tesla. Okay, back on over to MNOV just to kind of peek on it. You can see that we are still decreasing down here pre-market. Currently myself, I have a short trade on there, just 300 shares for right now. So as this continues to drop out pre-market, we'll continue making a little bit more money. So up 33 cents on the shares right now. So all in all, pretty good trade. If we fade out to the price target, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of targeting down at like 672 for this. I don't really see a need to be a big buyer on the stock. Unless we were down kind of more towards the 672 on the day. So I was actually kind of seeing or hoping we could get that short to decrease all the way down there to 671. If we can, that would be 740 to 670, so it's 30, so it'd be about a 74-cent trade. So should be pretty good profit if we could do that. So we'll see how it all plays out. Other than that, I mean, there isn't really a whole lot that I was going to probably go over. Big popular one here is Nike, NKE. They reported earnings. Looks like they're really good earnings. Stock has pretty much put in a very significant move. If we go to the daily chart, you can see that we are over the 2 standard deviation resistance point, and it's very possible to see something where the market pulls back down to 128 and then we go. So could be a dip to rip situation where maybe Nike drops out towards 128 and then we kind of bounce. Now, yeah, that's pretty much all that we have there for Nike on that situation. If we look at the daily chart on Nike, we do have resistance at the 130.75, which you can see we just pulled back to. We pushed over it, pulled back to it. So now this would be one of the levels I would watch for intraday for a support hold to potential breakdown, right about here at 130.74. That is all we have for you guys today on our morning watch list. Again, nothing too crazy, a couple penny stocks here and there. Still kind of want to be bullish on the market, but a part of me believes that we might just kind of see some more choppier trading for the time being. Hoping we continue the easy bounce up. We've started to, as mentioned yesterday by the title of our watch list, that markets were getting ready to bounce. And sure enough, we are bouncing, right? So the question really is, can we get over some of this previous resistance, around the 332, 331 price and keep chugging along? If so, again, I think you're going to be seeing prices on the market maybe back up and towards that 340 price eventually. So market still downtrending. We have the moving average 50 below 100. So we're still in a sort of a downtrend. There is a channel on the market now from here. Let me show you. Like so. Something like that. So there is a channel, right? And so until we actually cross over that channel, there's still the possibility we can get kicked back down. So we're paying close attention. We think the markets can bounce here a little bit, which we've already seen. The question is whether can we recover on the bounce, and that's what we're hoping for. So everybody, have a great day. I will see you guys in the next morning watches. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. We do this every single morning. Blah, blah, blah. See you guys in the next one. Take care.